Hello everyone, and Trisha, it's me, Jenny. It's time for another Not Naked video response to Trisha Hershberger series Naked Truth, where we talk as candidly and as truthfully as possible on a subject of Trisha choosing straight out of the shower, no makeup, first take, one take, etc. First take, one take, it's... Most people choose to do it naked, I choose not to, but either way, it's not a sex time thing, it's a tool for the vlogger to be truthful and honest and all that jazz. And I'm super out of the shower just now because I want to try and film multiple naked truths tonight, and I wanted to get one done straight away so I can start getting it off my phone, because my phone has very little space. So I'm going to do one and get it downloaded, and then I'm probably get it into my jammies and then do another one, because it's really stressing me out how far behind I am with all these naked truths, because every time I'm like, I want to do a naked truth, I have to check against my video history versus Trisha's video history, and I'm like, I've got like 6 to do, and it's like, of all the little stresses in my life, naked truths should not be one of them. So I'm going to dang well catch up tonight, whether or not I need to or not. In fact, I even made notes with my scrawly handwriting on demonetization, which is the first one that I'm going to do. So yeah, YouTube not demonetizing, de-verificating YouTube users. And this is an interesting one for me because we've had this sort of conversation before, along the lines of I've never been monetized, let alone verified. So I don't really know how to relate to this from a creator standpoint, especially given that I have not been creating a lot recently. I get it from both sides of the coin. Like, I understand why YouTube's doing it, in terms of like trying to, possibly what Trisha said, in terms of like trying to promote the like old media YouTube partners, so the ones who are from like old media who are progressed to YouTube, and trying to promote those ones rather than classic homegrown YouTube creators. But I also think part of it is trying to future-proof against things like deepfakes, and trying to future-proof against fraud, and trying to go across what's been happening for the history of YouTube, which is people who re-upload content, who steal other people's content and then re-upload it under their own name. And that's a classic thing, I think, among video game people. Like, there was a big scandal a couple of years ago about that with like a video game reviewer using someone else's video content, and I understand how like verification might be a good kind of wall to put up against that. So I understand why YouTube's doing it, but I also get why it's a big slap in the face, in the same way that demonetization is to smaller but still quite important, or like people who've just put in effort, YouTubers. So I understand why they're doing it. I've never even, like, as I said, I've never been monetized. Oh look, my eczema's come out like crazy in a nice hot shower. There we go. Yeah, so I kind of get it, and I love that Trisha's like big grumpy mama bear about it, like, you don't go after my friends, and hopefully the situation will be resolved. Again, I'm so late on these that most of the time when I'm responding to this is like old news, but yeah. So like, the way that I can relate to it is, part of the reason why I've been so backed up on YouTube videos lately is because I've been having a kind of rough time at work lately, and when I am feeling low self-esteemy and when I'm feeling stressed out with work, I tend to regress from media in most forms. And I feel like one of the things that YouTube's trying to promote with the verification thing is people who do multi-form media, or trying to, I don't know, the way that YouTube's progressed, instead of it being a platform in its own right, it is really a multi-form platform thing, so you have to be popular on multiple social medias. And I'm never going to get to that point because I am an old lady when it comes to multiple social medias. The only social media I use, really, is Discord and YouTube. Occasionally I use Twitter, very occasionally I use Twitch, and very occasionally I use Facebook. And I am like an old lady, like I really, like, and when I'm stressed out and when I'm feeling really insecure, I regress from all of those social medias, and I think that's actually quite sensible, because I know that a lot of people who have anxiety who then go on social media like get a lot worse, and my version of it is like regress. So like, I get that YouTube's trying to like promote multiple social media things, and like it helps link up like things like Twitter and YouTube, and if those things are connected, or if you're like a big person on Vine or a big person on Snapchat, then it makes sense for you to be verified on YouTube rather than if you're just a primary YouTube creator. But also it kind of just sucks. And I feel like one of the things that Trisha mentioned was the community engagement factor, and how community engagement on YouTube has changed. So now there's much more of like a big media thing being used on YouTube, rather than before where it was like a community engagement thing and it was all like homespun, homegrown YouTubers. And I definitely have changed how I view YouTube in the last couple of maybe year or so, or maybe slightly longer, where when I first started watching YouTube, I would watch every single video on a channel before I would subscribe, and that's maybe a little bit OCD, and maybe I was, and maybe I still am a little bit OCD. But the way that you watch YouTube now is so different. Like, I primarily watch the YouTubers who I'm subscribed to, but I don't watch every single one of their videos every single time. And often for the ones that I either want to watch but don't have time, or I kind of feel a moral obligation to, I will often watch in double speed. Like, I am very, like, I can register high level of speaking, and like, I think it comes from being a twin, where me and my twin sister would talk over each other, and we wouldn't leave time for another person in the conversation to make it like input. We would just talk over each other, and we'd be able to register as we were speaking what the other person was saying. So I watch videos sometimes in double speed, or 1.5 or 1.75 speed, so that I can get the content and I can get the enjoyment, but it doesn't take up so much time. And I think that's one of the big things, is YouTube, the way that it's progressing, and it was something that I asked in VidCon 2014, which is 5 years ago, to Philip Franco, was the difference between the way YouTube views content, and it being like, it was a YouTube sin to do a video over 4 minutes, and now YouTube is primarily doing longer form content and promoting longer form content and trying to keep people on the site for longer. And I'm going off on a really, really long tangent here. But like, the way that I view YouTube is like, a lot of these videos are really long, and I only have so much time. Like, yesterday I did a 15-hour work day, and at work there's almost no signal, so I don't watch YouTube at work. So when I get home and then there's a list of 20 things on my playlist, there will be things that I skip over. There's channels that I watch almost none of their content, and there's channels that I want to watch all of their content, but I don't physically have time, so I'll watch that in triple or double speed. And then when I want something just to zone out my brain, I'll go to the homepage and go to the suggested, which I've never done before, not until recently, where I started watching stuff on my phone. Did I ever go to the homepage and ever look at the suggested options, and that's really very recent for me. And it is changing how people view YouTube, and I think part of what YouTube is trying to do is trying to adjust how it manages its users versus the content. And I never watched SNL sketches before, but recently I have, and like, now that I realise that that's a kind of a thing for demonetization, I'm like, oh no, am I neglecting the small users? But like, that's just like, it's changing, and it's weird, and it's hard. Anyway, I know I'm running out of time. My phone's going to run out of space any second now. How you choose community engagement. Yeah, and like, I feel like one of the reasons why I left my old work, and I've been in my current work for nearly 3 years, was because I didn't feel like the upper echelon had my back. And I can see why a lot of YouTubers right now feel like they're being neglected or being taken advantage of, and that totally sucks. And trying to feel like the top management is listening to them is really, really difficult, and it's really the most frustrating and painful thing in the world. And that's the reason why I left my old company at work. And I don't work for YouTube. Like, my YouTube stuff is completely different to my actual work stuff. But like, I do get that feeling of frustration and neglect that you get when you feel like the top bosses aren't listening to you. So I am glad that YouTube backtracking on it. I don't know what situation it is right now. I haven't had an update in a couple of weeks because I'm so belated with these videos. Anyway, there we go. I'm going to put on some jammies for my next video. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment, and I'll see you guys all hopefully very soon, because I really want to catch up on these. Bye for now.